welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having a lovely day today. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing my intro for my Pan That palette for 2024, and I'm so excited for this year's Pan That palette because I have high hopes, okay? I just do. But yeah, before we get into the video, I just quickly wanted to say, if you guys are new here, if you wouldn't mind subscribing if you want to see more videos from me, that would be great, because I'm really trying to hit 700 subscribers before my birthday, which is in July. So we have time, and I think we could do it if I push myself, and you know, you guys want to see more of me, obviously. But yeah, also, if you're already subscribed, you could really help by leaving a like on the video, because that really does help, and by commenting. If you don't know what to comment, just comment algorithm. Honestly, it's fine. Because that also helps push my video out into the YouTube universe. Also, the lighting today, I'm sorry, I don't know whether you can see like my window pattern here, but the sun is just blaring in, and I can't put the ring light on because then I'm so overexposed. It's just not a vibe, guys. It's just not. But yeah, with all that rambling done, let's get into the video. So obviously last year I worked on the Soph and Revolution palette, which I believe had 24 shades in it, and I just think I bit off more than I could chew, basically. And I was gonna pick a really small palette, but then I was like, I just need to go for my oldest palette in my collection that has been highly neglected, and that is, oh my god, the overexposure, please. That is the Urban Decay Naked Heat palette, and I used to love this palette. You will see I have used this eyeshadow palette, but not enough for how old it is. Like, I've had this since I was in college, and I am now 25. So yeah, I've had this for a hot minute. So let me show you what the palette's looking like, and I will have like pictures up, and we will eventually have a montage of, you know, the palette throughout the months. But this is what it is currently looking like. So as you can see, there's definitely some use on the shades, but not enough for how old this palette is. There's no obvious dips in any of the shades, and there's also definitely no pan on none of the shades. So this is a 12 pan palette, I believe. Yes, it's a 12 pan palette, which is half of the size of the palette I used last year. The only problem I think I'm going to run into with this palette is the fact that all of the shades are very similar. I have it on my eyes today. All the shades are also very dark, so that's another thing. But the only thing I'm a little bit scared of is getting bored of all my eyeshadow looks kind of looking the same. But I'm sure we can sprinkle in some colour here and there and still use these shades. And I have a plan that I'm going to put in motion. So I will have like pictures or like cutaway videos of what each shade is looking like. But the very first shade is Ounce. Now this is a very light shimmery shade. Well, it's not shimmery, it's kind of, it's not glittery. Yeah, I guess you would call it a shimmery shade. And I use this for inner corner and brow bone highlight. I also use it for when I do like all matte looks, and then I just want like a little bit of something on like the, I was gonna say spare space, but you know, like the blank space on my eye, just to really brighten up the inner part of my eye. So that one I don't think will be a problem. It just depends how much use I get on it. So then the next shade is Chaser, which I think I have used probably the most, if not the second most, in this palette. Now this is like a lighter brown, like it's quite a cool brown as well. I actually quite like this shade. I don't think this will be hard for me to use. I think this will be one of the easier ones to pan for me, so I'm not too nervous about that one. The next shade is Sourced. Sourced is actually probably the shade that I've used the most now that I look at it. It's definitely got the most, you know, disturbance in the pan. There's no obvious dips in it at all, but I'm not nervous about this shade. I think this is the shade that I will be able to finish quite easily if I'm going to finish shades, which is definitely what I'm going for this year. Then we have the shade next to that, which is Low Blow, which now that I look at it, I've hardly used like you can still kind of see the imprint of where the pan's been pressed. So yeah, this one definitely needs a bit more use. And then next to that, there's this gorgeous, oh my, this shimmer is gorgeous. It's like a rose gold. It's called Lumber. I've got it on my eyes today. In the center, you won't be able to see because the lighting is horrific. But I love this shade. I don't think this will be a problem for me to use up. I think it's probably the shimmer in here that I will use the most, which is great. Then we have He Devil, which is like this nice deep red. I like this shade. It's like a reddy brown. I really, really like it. I don't think I'll struggle to use it, but these shades are very pigmented. That's the only problem. Next to that, we have Dirty Talk, which I've definitely used. Well, it looks like I've used it anyway, but I haven't used it recently, so I'm not really too sure what I think about that one. Then next to that, we have Scorched, which is a very nice shade, to be honest. It's, yeah, I like it. It's like a bronzy, it's not bronzy though. It's a weird shade. It's like bronzy brown shimmer. It's really nice. So I think I'm going to have fun using that one. Next to that, we have Cayenne. I'm not sure. But this is honestly very similar to He Devil, but a bit more brown. So yeah, we'll just see how we go with that one. Next to that, we have En Fuego, which is like, it's a very deep red purple leaning, I would say, shade. Not sure how I'm gonna go with that one, but obviously I will give it my best shot. And then these last two shades are the ones that I'm most nervous about. So we've got Ashes, which is like a very deep purple shade, but I think I will be able to use it for liner, I'm hoping. So we will see. And then the very last shade is Ember, which is a very deep brown shimmer. Not really a shade I ever really reach for. I clearly have because it's got disturbance in the pan, but it's the one I'm most nervous for. Now, the only problem I think I might run into with this palette is the fact that it is so pigmented. I've used it today. I've been using it a few times since I decided I was going to try and empty it. And the shades are so pigmented. Like, I use so little. That is the only thing I'm scared of. But regardless, this palette needs some love. She needs some love in her life, and I need to try and empty it. I don't know whether this is going to be a kind of palette where I use it and then declutter it at the end of the year if I don't finish everything. But as of right now, the shades are working beautifully, so I'm not nervous. So I'll just quickly do some swatches for you as best as I can. I'm not very good at swatches, guys. So those are the first 4 shades there. So we have Ounce, which you can hardly see. I'm not sure if you can see it if I put it over there. You can hardly see. It's just a very light shimmer. And then we have Chaser, we have Sourced, and then we have Low Blow. Then we have the next 4 shades. So we have my favorite shimmer, which is Lumber. Then we have He Devil. Then we have Dirty Talk, and then we have Scorched. Then we have the last 4 shades. So we have Cayenne, En Fuego, Ashes, and Ember, which honestly, Ember on my arm. Are you kidding? That is so sick. That looks amazing. Okay, so my plan for this palette is to definitely work on 2 shades at a time and try and get at least, use them 10 times and then move on to the next 2, and I feel like that's how I'm gonna get them the most productive use out of this palette, because so many of the shades are so similar. One shade I'm definitely not going to work on is Ounce, because it's the only like inner corner and brow bone highlight shade in here, so I'll use that anyway. But I think the first shades that I'm gonna try to use up are gonna be, I'm gonna work on Sourced because it's already got the most kind of progress on it. Sourced is this one here, and then I'm also going to work on He Devil here because I really like that shade at the minute. So I'm going to use them 10 times, and then I'm going to move on to the next like 2 shades, and I'm going to kind of work on it that way. I am obviously going to use more than just 2 shades when I use the palette, but these are going to be the 2 that I kind of focus my looks around, and then once I've done that, I'll move on to another one, and so on and so forth. Yeah, and I think that's going to be the way I get the most use on each shade, because in my previous project pan there were some shades that only had like 2 uses in it, and I refuse to have any less than at least 20 uses on each shade in this year's project pan. So yeah, that is my plan. Anyway, I'm hoping to do makeup a lot more this year too, now that Oakley's a little bit more independent and I get a bit more time for me. Not a lot, but a little bit. I'm also going to be filming a lot more videos this year because I really want to upload more and I really want to make a good effort with my channel this year. So I'm just thinking that this palette is going to get a lot more use. Like I said, the only thing I'm nervous about is how pigmented these shades are. I mean, you saw on the swatches. I mean, granted, I was like wiping my arm, so some of them might have been like a little bit wet, but they're so pigmented. So that is the only downfall I think I might face. But other than that, that is everything for this intro for my Pan That palette. How do you think I'm going to do? Do you think I've definitely bitten off more than I could chew? Or do you think I actually have made a good pick this year? Let me know what you're panning. I need to know what palette you're working on. I need to know and how it's going for you. That is everything that I have for you guys today. Like I said, please leave a like if you do enjoy because it would really, really help me out. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss when I post new videos every Monday and Saturday. And also so that you don't miss updates on this palette. And yeah, if you are new around here, please consider subscribing because I'm really trying to hit 700 subscribers before the end of the year. I'm going to stop rambling. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.